It's training camp season. Today we're looking at the Dallas Cowboys and getting a good look at George Pickens. We got clips from joint practices, him making some big catches over the last few days, everything else. Before we dig in, you need to click that subscribe button right now. We're looking at training camp every day. We're looking at your favorite players, your favorite teams. Guys, you're getting ready to draft in fantasy football here soon. Click that button. Stay in the know of what your players are doing. And we're looking at George Pickens today. 10 minutes of clips. Pretty much all of training camp. Pretty much all of it. And we're going to start off with the recent ones. We're going to funnel our way back. But he's been making plays. And I'm not surprised. If you're making plays with Justin Fields in training camp, you better be with Dak. That's the thing about that. And he's been making plays. He's been looking good. Although we know what happened at Pittsburgh, we know he can be a little flighty from his time at Georgia with Pittsburgh. That time against Georgia Tech when he really put it to that DB. Like, all of it. All of it. The thing is, that's probably something this offense needs. That assertiveness, that aggressiveness. That my dog mentality. My ball, my dog, whatever. That dog mentality out of him. And you just see it. It just oozes on the field. Making play after play. Another one down there. Just getting it. Just getting it. This is a wide receiver that if he's covered, he's still open. There's this one practice clip over at Georgia where he was pretty much covered, and the ball was in the air. It was a 50-50 ball, and you have to go check it out. It's him just reaching over one-handed and kind of falling on top of it and still making the catch. Probably one of the greatest catches you'll ever see, and he just does that. I look for him to be a huge piece to this offense. They got some injuries to the offensive line. Offensive line is going to be very volatile this year, ambiguous due to some of that. Feel like most offensive lines get banged up, of course, the season. They're trying to get that pieced back together. The running back depth chart, that's going to be very ambiguous. Looks like Jaden Blue's carving out a role, and it looks like Javonte Williams has been looking pretty solid. Miles Sanders was missing some practices. There he is, making some big plays, though. Making some big plays. That's what you expect from a George Pickens. He's with CeeDee Lamb. The thing about this tandem is George Pickens can be George Pickens now. He does not have to be the wide receiver one. He does not have to be the full offense. He can really just go out there and play bully ball against the number 2 corner. They can move these guys around, create mismatches. This is going to be very interesting. I think Dak might have his best season this year, especially statistically, if these wide receivers stay healthy or if the offensive line holds up just enough. I think Dak is very underrated this season. I think a lot of people look at what he's done these last few years due to the injuries. He's healthy. He's healthy. He's looking good. Everything's quiet about him. Everything's really quiet about him, about training camp. But George Pickens, there's just about every day, there's some sort of catch he makes, some sort of play he makes that's making an impact to practice. That's a highlight. And we saw it last year with the Steelers. It's that big play energy. And he does not have to be the only guy out there with that big play energy now. He's got CeeDee Lamb with him. This is going to help Ferguson, too. This is going to help Ferguson over the middle, especially around the red zone. Because now you got to worry about that back pylon, deep fade, those 50-50 balls, CeeDee. The passing game is going to be a little different this year. One thing that's been noted, and I've kind of noticed that a lot too, is they go in motion a lot more this year, it seems like, at least in the practices. We might get in games that'd be totally different, but that's one thing that was noticed. that they've been running guys in motion more pre-snap. There's a little bit more movement there. But again, we could get in season, it could be totally different. But look at the movement there by 60. Looking solid. Looking solid. George Pickens is going to be huge for this team. I know Steelers fans or people watching what he was doing at Pittsburgh and people thinking about the attitude problem. The thing is, when you look at players like that, it's the start of the new relationship is always good. And then once we feel comfortable and once things start going array, then that kind of happens. So right now, the honeymoon period is going to be great. The honeymoon period is going to be amazing. But the thing is, if you win games on top of that, it's going to be all right. If you're losing games, you're not going to be happy anyways. If you're losing games, it ain't going to feel good anyway. So it is what it is. Like, I ain't going to be happy if they lose games. Like you think about it in those terms. Like, you want him happy if he's losing games? This is what you're going to get. If you cut the nuts off the dog, you're not going to get the bark. If you cut the nuts off this dog, you're not going to get that big play ability. You're just not. You're just going to have to live with it. And he's going to give some attitude to the team. Like, in a good way. Until it doesn't. But that aggressiveness, him and CeeDee Lamb are gelling well together too. They're buddy-buddy in practice, before practice, in drills. That's a very good sign. Those hands are nasty. He has one of the most nastier hands in the league. Like, just how he can pluck balls out of the air. Like, it's such a subjective, whatever word best fits that sentence, phrase to say. Because there's no degree of grading unless you had some kind of weird AI tool. But his hands, like the stickiest, the pluckiest in the league. Or what you'll ever see from a wide receiver. With how he plays the game. I think these two are a perfect fit, actually. Like, they fit each other well. And it's going to allow other guys, like role players like Tolbert, to make big plays. Like, as you go through your reads, hopefully Dak can get to his reads due to the offensive line. But they're trying to build around it. I like Tyler Booker. I like Booker a lot. We mock draft January, February, March, April, and we do a 7-rounder every Sunday. We pick a division. We mock for that whole division against the simulator. Simulator drafts the other picks. And every draft, Tyler Booker, like, you couldn't put him out of the first round because you knew, like once he's off the board, there was a steep drop off. Interior offensive line talent. Like, the drop off was so steep. Like, you're back into the first round, and you're like, he's got to go somewhere. He's got to go somewhere. But you watch the big media mock drafts talk about Tyler Booker, and they kind of forget about him. But that really gives you a clue of what they're really looking at, because somebody on the interior offensive line has to go in the first round. There at least has to be 1 or 2 picks. A lot of people disagree. It's the least sexiest picks. And you could say it was a reach. That's fair. But also, when you look at this draft, and you're looking all the way down from top to bottom, I think the odds of having him on this roster and being a key component to this roster almost 10 years from now, say 8 years from now, is going to be higher than most. That's the thing about that. And it was a position of need. It's a player that was top tier at his position group. Still on the board. That could immediately help. That they could plug in. That's nasty. He's really smart. Really smart guy. But I got off the rails there, Booker. Let's get back to Pickens. Hands are sticky. Hands are nasty. We're seeing that. After the catchability, mostly that just aggressiveness, assertiveness of his play. I like assertive wide receivers. I think that is the trait you want to look for in wide receivers. They can all run routes. There's rarely a wide receiver that can't run most of a route tree anymore. Mostly, your top flight wide receivers out of high school, they're running full route trees. Like Terrence Williams said to my buddy at the Senior Bowl, admitted he can't run a full route tree. I don't think you know that. He admitted it. He'll admit it. It used to be back in the day, and back in the day was just not so long ago. The wide receivers, they couldn't. Now they can. It's just there's different levels, and those levels are so high up there now, talent-wise, effectiveness-wise, of the nuance, that it's really hard to disconnect what would be productive and not, because you only need so much to be productive. But that aggressiveness, that my ball mentality, that getting in and out of breaks, being aggressive after the catch, being aggressive towards the ball, coming back for the ball, fighting for the ball, that is huge. That is huge. There's only a few wide receivers that have it. George Pickens does. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I want to hear about that. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on the way out. Well, thank you for watching. Catch you on the next video.